Boker Tov, gentlemen, Chodesh Tov Mevorach. Besorot Tovot, Be'ezrat Hashem, we should have a very successful month of Beracha, of Briut, Parnasah, Shefa, and Geula Shlema, B'mena B'yamenu Amen. I'm dedicating the shiur Leilu Nishmat Devorah Fegi Bat Shemuel, Ora Devorah Bet Shemuel, Esther Rivka Bat Avraham, Monica Bat Fani, and Menachem Mendel Ben El-Hanan. Baruch Hashem Tenachem Began Eden. You know, I was asked, interesting question. We're just about to read about Rivka and Esav with Yaakov, and when she was passing next to Avodah Zarah, Esav wanted to go out. So they say, "So what do you want from the poor guy? If he from birth he had a temptation for Avodah Zarah, so leave him alone." Hazit.
He was a victim of circumstance.
That's right. He was born with that teva, with that nature. What do you want from him? So obviously the answer is very simple. But we're going to understand the answer after the following question. We have Yitzchak Avinu. We asked yesterday, well, you want to tell me that really Yitzchak didn't know his own son? He didn't know who is Esav and who is Yaakov? More than that. When Yitzchak is getting his son Yaakov, and he says, "Come here, come closer." Akol kol Yaakov hayadayim yedei Esav. The voice is the voice of Yaakov. The hands are the hands of Esav, right? So you already feel something weird. So why are you blessing? Why are you giving the blessing? You should wait, check it out before you give a blessing. But Yitzchak Avinu didn't check that out. He said, "Oh, Akol kol Yaakov hayadayim yedei Esav yadai." I'm giving him a beracha. The answer is, Rabotai, Esav, you're right. He had a certain nature that was more tempting to Avodah Zarah. What was the goal of Esav? Not to be Yaakov. The goal of Esav was to have a little bit of Yaakov that he had inside his life and to try to connect with it. Borei Olam didn't ask from Esav to be a great tzaddik. Borei Olam asked from Esav to increase the Yaakov that is inside of him. That's why Yaakov and Esav were born in the same womb. Why? Because each one of them have whatever the other one had as well. A little bit of it. Esav have a little bit of Yaakov inside him, inside of his personality. And also Yaakov had a little bit of Esav inside of his personality. So now we're going to understand the following concept. When Yaakov Avinu comes to Yitzchak, and he tells him, "Akol kol Yaakov hayadayim yedei Esav." How is Yaakov telling his father? "Ani Esav bechorecha." I am Esav, your son. So we ask what Yaakov is lying. According to this answer, it's amazing. Because Yaakov is telling to Yitzchak, "Abba, you want to give a beracha to Esav." I understand. Why you don't want to give the beracha to Esav? Why? Because you think that he have much more of a challenge, right? By trying to connect to his own Yaakov, to his own kedusha that he have in his life. Abba, I also have a challenge. I also have an Esav inside me. Ani Esav vechorecha. What about my Esav? What about my Yetzer Hara? I don't need berachot. What do you think? I was born with a temptation for Torah, so I have no Yetzer Hara? Comes Yitzchak and he understands that and he says, "Oh, Akol kol Yaakov hayadayim yedei Esav." I'm going to give you a beracha. I understand right now that also when you have the call of Yaakov, the voice of the Torah, you still have Yadayim. Yadayim is some action, some Yetzer Hara that is trying to pull you to another side. If also you, Yaakov, have Yetzer Hara, I have to give you a blessing as well. Unbelievable. By the way, just in parentheses, the Chafetz Chaim writes down. Nice. That's why the head of Esav was buried in the same grave as Yaakov Avinu. Why? As Yitzchak, I'm sorry, not Yaakov. Right? As Yitzchak. Why? Because at the end of the day, he had some purity inside him. He had some kedusha. Anyway, what I want to say, the Chafetz Chaim writes down that when He asked, why HaKadosh Baruch Hu had to make that Yaakov will get the berachot only by wearing the garments of Esav? Why? Now is Borei Olam managing everything. Why Borei Olam wanted this way? That Yaakov will get the berachot when he's wearing the garments of Esav. Why? Fine. What? HaKadosh Baruch Hu cannot give him berachot without being... Rabotai, the Hafetz Chaim says something unbelievable. Says the Hafetz Chaim. Because before Mashiach will come, it will be a generation that the majority of Am Yisrael, they will wear and they will dress like Esav. And the Mekatreg, the angel that is going to talk bad about Am Yisrael, is going to go up and he's going to say, Borei Olam, listen how they're behaving. They are Esav. They're not Bnei Yaakov, Bnei Israel. Said the Hafetz Chaim, that's why Borei Olam from the very beginning. He gave those garments to Yaakov to say, Akol kol Yaakov v'yadayim yedei Esav. Even though Am Yisrael, sometimes they're trying to be like the Goyim. They dress like them. They act like them. But inside their own neshama, you have to look for the light. Because every single Jew have the call of Kol Yaakov. Unbelievable. To judge for good, and once we judge for good, but our name is also judging us for good. But Rabotai, I want to tell you something even deeper. I'm still in 1 more minute. 4 also? 4 minutes? Thank you. So there was a rabbi that said, from this parasha, we have to ask ourselves, are we students of Yaakov or are we students of Esav? So the students look at the rabbi and they say, Rabbi, how are you talking? You want to compare me to Esav? So let's try. And he says, listen, who was Esav and who was Yaakov? Esav, Rashi brings the Midrash. Esav, all what he was doing all the time was to show himself to his father that he is a great tzaddik. Ketzad me'aserim et hamelach. How you taking out ma'aser of the salt? Details that, it's not even halachot. It's not even questions. By the way, you know at what time Esav got married? At the age of 40. You want to know why Esav got married at the age of 40? Says the Midrash. Until the age of 40, Esav was grabbing women that were married and doing averot. But he didn't want it to get married before. Until the age of 40 to say, at least I am like my dad. To show that I am like my father. You know what was Esav's wife? What was her name? What was her name? Yehudit. Say the Midrash, why her name was Yehudit? Because she wanted to show to Yitzchak Avinu that he is marrying somebody, tzaddiket, that she's having all the actions of Esav was a show-off. Outside. Acting in one way outside and in a different way inside. Rabotai, we have to ask ourselves, are we students of Yaakov or are we students of Esav? How many times we act differently? How the other day, yesterday, somebody told me, Rabbi, I want to tell you something. Outside, all the time I smile. I see people, hey, how you doing? And everybody likes me. I come home, I'm exhausted after a whole day of work, after a whole day of this. I come back, I don't even want to smile to my wife. I'm tired, not because I don't love her. I love her. I'm tired. 1 second, but in the shul you also were tired, right? So why you smile? No, listen, because everybody's here. And your wife what? How many times we act one way outside? And I'm talking to me, not to you guys. I'm talking to me, how many times we act in one way outside and in the second way and another way inside. What's the difference in between Esav and Ishmael? Very interesting. And we see it until today. Ma'aseh avot siman labanim. The Rabban writes, the same exactly things that happened by our forefathers will happen also in the future. How Ishmael acts and how Esav acts. Ishmael is a guy that whatever he does openly. Where do we learn that from? You remember? You remember when Sarah had to throw up Ishmael? When Sarah threw up Ishmael and Agar? Right? Because he was metzachek. Because she saw clearly that this guy is doing averot. Ishmael doesn't care about the averot. He does it. Ishmael until today, he doesn't care about to being anti-Semitic. No, he doesn't care. He said openly, I hate Jews. And I do this and I do that. He doesn't care. That's Ishmael. Isav is the opposite. Isav, you go to Europe, you go to, they're so nice and bonjour and everything so beautiful. And inside they hate you, they want to kill you. Ishmael and Isav. There was a rabbi, the rabbi of Satmar. You know him? Satmar Rabbi. Satmar Rabbi used to be a big tzaddik. It's not a joke. Kadosh Anion. One time was Purim, and in the Hasidut of Purim they used to have a show. What's the show? There was a fellow that knew how to make people laugh, and he was making a special show for Purim. Anyway, so this showman went to the rabbi before, to the Admor, and he told him, Rabbi, do you mind if I present you? The rabbi said, no problem. You know, before for Purim, why not? He says that this Hasid stands up in the stage and he starts presenting the Rabbi of Satmar, and he does it perfect. The prayers and how he moves the hands like he's catching angels, and you know the Hasidim, you know what I mean, and the Talit, and the Gartel, and the Tzitzios running one side to another, and how he speaks, and how he prays, and how in the middle of the show, the Hasid looks at the Rabbi, and he sees that the Rabbi is crying. So, whoa. I caused the Rabbi to cry. But he stopped the show in the middle. He ran to the Rabbi. Mehila, Chacham, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. Forgive me. The Rabbi said, no. You didn't do anything wrong. He said, no, but Rabbi, I see you crying. Oh, you're asking why I'm crying? I'm going to tell you why I'm crying. I saw you, that you are presenting me so well, that you're doing exactly how I behave, that I'm asking myself if I'm not doing this for a show also. Ay. How many times, Rabotai, we come to a shul and we pray, what a kavanot, what a amidot, what a tefillot. And really I'm doing it just because I know that there is somebody next to me that I want him to, look good in his eyes. Be impressed for good. How delicate it is. There was a rabbi, his name was Rabbi Israel Misalant. Rabbi Israel Misalant was the one that brought in the world the concept of learning Musar every day, at least half an hour. Once they asked him, Rabbi, what's the difference in between your way and the way of the Hasidim? The Hasidim also, they're getting connected through actions, and says, I'm going to tell you the difference. By the Hasidim, they get connected by eating, by dancing, and they're trying to take all the food and all the dancing and all the garments to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's great. By me, I'm trying to take all the Yom Kippur and all the special moments and not take it to Hashem, take it for you. To be real, not to be fake. Because you can be also in Na'ila, in the most highest level, and to still say certain things and act in a certain way just because you want to look good in the eyes of others. How delicate that is. So we have to ask ourselves, are we Talmidim of Yaakov, students of Yaakov, or sometimes we are also being Talmidim of Esav. I want to tell you one more. Esav HaRasha, he was Ish Yodea Tzayid, Ish Sadeh. He was a hunter. What's wrong by being a hunter? Why did Torah have to tell me that Esav was a hunter? For what? Rabotai, Esav was a hunter because hunter, it's not to catch animals to eat. That's not being a hunter. There is a hobby. You know this word, hobby? You know this concept? What's a hobby? Rashi brings down, look inside. Rashi brings down that Isav was using the concept of a hunter as a hobby just because he have to fill up the time. You know, I have to kill the time. You heard it in those words? I have to kill up the time. I don't know if in English you say it. In Hebrew you say, yeah. I have to kill up the time. Kill up the moments. Kill the time. What's the killing of the time? You know what that means? Rabotai, being Isav is those people that are saying, I'm too busy. I have no time for myself. And when you look a little bit in his life, of course he have no time. He needs a time to look at all the newspapers. And he needs a time to look at all the sports games. And he needs a time to also go and I don't know what. And he doesn't have the time for real things. Isav was called Isav. The meaning of Isav is to tell you you're too busy because you're busy in your hobbies and your random things and you're not taking your time for the real purpose why we're here. I'm not saying that we should not go and play sometimes, you know, people that like some soccer, football, golf, whatever it is, you know, take your time. The question is how much we're dedicating for that and how much we're dedicating for the real things that I have to do. If I'm being Talmid of Esav or Talmid of Yaakov. What is Yaakov? Ish tam Yoshev Ohanim. He's sitting down. He knows how to take advantage of the timing. Every single minute that you have open, take a time for yourself to learn, to grow, to pray, to say Tehillim. It's a huge difference. Just want to tell you, and with this I'm done. There was a very, very rich guy that wrote a question to a rabbi by name Rabbi Yecheskel Lando. Rabbi Yecheskel Lando was a famous Noda Yehuda. Yeah? Around, I don't know, 200 years ago. The Noda Yehuda have teshuvot in all the Shulchan Aruch. And he asked him a question. Rabbi, Baruch Hashem, by us, the rich guys, we go and we are having a little bit of fun by hunting. I have a huge, huge forest that belongs to me, all type of animals. And I just want to know halachically if it's permissible to hunt or not. This teshuvah, you can find it. The Noda Yehuda wrote a whole entire teshuvah to answer this fellow. And he wrote at the beginning of the teshuvah, the reason why I'm answering is because I love you. Because if I wasn't loving you, that wasn't even a question. But I'm going to go detail by detail. And he explained to him, if there is Tza'ar Ba'alei Chaim, or there is no Tza'ar Ba'alei Chaim, are you allowed to hunt or not? He said, or he goes to many, many details. Then he ends up like this. And he says, but all these really doesn't apply. Because the concept of hunting, we found it only by Isav and by Nimrod. And we are Bnei Yaakov. We don't hunt. Why are you going to ask me? Because Bnei Yaakov, they have time that it's limited. And every single moment that they have to grab more and more to be able to reach to Olam Haba. Rabotai, sometimes we have to ask ourselves. And again, I'm not saying to be no extreme. Have your time also to take it for yourself. But you have to ask yourself, I'm being Talmid of Yaakov or I'm being Talmid of Esav? I'm being outside a show-off or I'm being Tocho Kevaro? I'm grabbing at the time that I have to get closer to Borei Olam, or Bar Minan, I'm doing the opposite. Baruch Adonai Le'olam. Amen ve'amen.